Welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Today we are honored to have, and I'm going to make sure to say these names right, Sarah Levin.
Yep.
I got that right?
Yes, you did. Thank
And also Juhem Navarro Rivera. How are you guys doing right now? You're both with Secular Strategies.
I'm a Secular Strategies.
And Juhem is?
Socioanalitica.
All right, so let's go ahead and I tell you why I am going to start with Secular Strategies. As I was walking to my room to do some development, I saw this young lady on the ground working her heart out, preparing for one of our panels. And I asked her what it was about, and she said, uniting community. So I'm going to say that and let her take it away from there.
Thank you so much. So I'm really excited to be presenting at Netroots with Juhem this year. We have been both working for a long time to activate non-religious voters.
Right.
The religiously unaffiliated are the fastest growing religious demographic in the U.S., and yet we are severely underrepresented in politics, often excluded, including in progressive coalitions.
Right.
Or maybe at best kind of an afterthought.
Right.
And we just want to really educate folks about who this demographic is,
Right.
why it's so important to the future of progressive politics, and I would say the now, and how to go about engaging our community.
And what do you do with your company?
Yeah, so we're a consulting firm. We do research consulting.
Uh-huh.
So I work with mostly progressive organizations, mostly led by people of color or women of color, on issues of research design. So we design surveys, focus groups. We do data analysis, design dashboards, clean data. I call Socioanalitica the research department of organizations that have organizers but no research departments.
Right.
So that's what I
So I can see that you guys probably work together on these issues because you can provide quite a bit of analytical data.
Yes.
Got it. Now, let me ask you, you said that you want to make sure that the progressive space is open to absolutely everybody. Tell me how the secular and what's a secular and non-secular issue as you see it?
So when you say a secular issue, it's because religion and government, or let me start by saying the First Amendment Establishment Clause, right?
Right.
That provides for the separation of religion and government.
Right.
That's not one issue.
Right.
That's like 100 different issues.
Thousands of issues.
Right,
yeah.
right. And every place that religion has imposed itself on our laws is an opportunity to clarify the role that religion should have
Right.
in government. So it ranges from everything from healthcare, right? The push to make abortion illegal is
Right.
based on a religious viewpoint that
Right.
life begins at conception.
Right.
It is preventing good policies like medical aid in dying,
Right.
which is the right to, if you have 6 months or less to live,
Right.
terminal illness, to end your life on your own terms,
Right.
because you get folks like the Catholic Church lobbying against those kinds of bills. It's every type of religious exemption you can imagine. There's a bunch of states that have religious exemptions for child abuse and neglect, that regulate faith-based childcare centers differently than secular ones.
Right.
We have religious exemptions from vaccine requirements.
Right.
We have Christianity taking over our military,
Right.
so that atheists in the military don't have equal access to services. They're being
Right.
discriminated against. They're getting proselytized to. The list goes on. It's very, very long.
Right.
And a lot of the work that I do is with elected officials and candidates to make sure they understand how deep these issues go, and how they can advance positive policies so that we're not always on the defense of trying to undo
Right.
what the Christian right is doing, but also having a positive vision for what does inclusive religious freedom policy look like so that people of all faiths and none feel included, but taxpayer dollars aren't going to organizations that are using our tax dollars to then discriminate on the basis
It's
of
amazing
religion.
because everybody pay their taxes, so why do we allow particular organizations to have preeminence over what our laws are going to be?
Exactly. You have foster care and adoption care centers getting government funding
Right.
that will turn away Jews, will turn
Right.
away same-sex couples, all on the basis of religious liberty.
Right. And where do you play in that part?
So one of the things is that, as Sarah mentioned, like a
Right.
lot of secular organizations, secular communities
Right.
have organized around these issue of the First Amendment and religious liberty, religious freedom. But what happens also is that public opinion shows that, even though the secular community cares a lot about these particular issues, this is not just the only thing we care about.
Right.
Survey after study shows that the knowns, the non-religious, the secular community is the most progressive in the country in terms of economic justice,
Right.
racial justice, you name it, environmentalism.
Let me stop you there, because it's amazing that what you just said, but it's true. That you would think that the religious community, based on the tenets that they're based on, that somehow they would care more about humanity. Somehow they would care more of these things that move these things forward. And you're saying, no, from your data, that's not the case at all.
Yeah, because we only have one life.
Right.
We have to care about the here and now.
Right.
We're not expecting heaven, so
Right.
we have to build it on earth. It's very liberation theology kind of type.
Right.
And that's kind of like the religious colleagues and allies that will have those same kinds of beliefs. But in our case, it's like, we have to build it here because it's the only planet and it's the only life we
It is interesting, Sarah, because, I mean, as it turns out, if you listen to how both of you are framing this, what's good for secular, what good if laws are secular is great for everybody, but what folks in the, let's say, the religious realm may want, just may not. So in effect, what would you want to pass? You want to make sure that, in effect, those who are looking for these secular laws, these secular things, actually, it needs to be pushed more because, again, it serves all people as opposed to some. Did I sum that up a bit right?
Absolutely. The problem with mixing religion and government is that inevitably you're going to privilege a specific group over everybody else.
Right.
And if it's Christians, there's no possible way that it's going to be representative of all Christians because
Right.
there's so many
Different,
denominations,
right.
so many interpretations, right?
Right.
Scripture is in the eye of the beholder. And so the only way in a pluralistic democracy to ensure that everybody's rights are protected is to keep religion and government separate and base your laws not
Absolutely.
on doctrine, but what is objectively compassionate? What is actually going to solve the problem? What is evidence-based?
I mean, I like that word, objectively compassionate, not for compassion, objectively compassionate. I love that. So you think about it, right? Everybody can talk about being compassionate, but how compassionate it is to support laws that starve kids, how compassionate it is to support laws that don't provide healthcare while healthcare is paid. I mean, I'm from the state of Texas. We have, you probably all heard of the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act. It's denied in Texas. That is, and it's denied on various grounds from a religious sect. What does that tell you? Do they support the harming of children for not providing healthcare? So that objectively compassionate is a lot more effective than for compassion. Finish up for me. Give me a closer.
So I would say,
In other words, tell me what you would have liked me to ask you, both of you, that I didn't.
do you know I'm ready to go? I need a second to think about it.
Well,
Yeah, I would say, like, who are these knowns? Because that's one of the things we're defining. Because there's a lot of assumptions out there, especially in the media, that the knowns are these spiritual but not religious, like religion adjacent.
Right.
The atheists are the bad guys.
I love that. Yes.
And the most of the knowns are religious adjacent. They don't. But the truth is that most knowns are distrustful of religion.
Exactly.
Like the reason people are leaving religion, and you see the patterns that a lot of people have a bad opinion of religion because conservatives have helped doing that.
Right.
But the fact is that they're not running toward liberal congregations. They are moving away from religion. They're raising their kids without religion.
Right.
And we need to end up that myth that these people are gonna come back at some point. They're not coming back.
Right.
We need to live with that reality and engage with that reality and engage them where they are at.
And your data proves that.
Yes.
Your data proves that. You want to give us a closer, Sarah?
Yes. Juhem's closer actually inspired mine. I think what I wish you would have asked me is, in this environment we're in at Netroots and in the progressive movement, what can they do? And I think what I'd like to see in progressive circles is not when they're facing and confronting white Christian nationalism, recognizing that if the only constituency you're engaging to address it is the religious left, you are not going to win this battle. not only are you not being as inclusive as you should be as a big tent movement,
Right.
but you are not going to win because you are limiting your coalition. And frankly, not only do you need to be including the secular community, you need to be centering our perspective, because our perspective is the one that is going to be the most pluralistic by default. And we've been doing the work for years. So make sure to include our community in your work.
Juhem, thank you so kindly for being on Politics Done Right. And Sarah, thank you so kindly for being on Politics Done Right. And you don't have to spend all that time. Today is your last day. You can have a little bit of time now, okay?
Okay, now I have permission.
There
Thank
you go. All right. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share.